Hello, my name is Paul Miners and welcome back to another one of my productivity training videos. And in this video today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how I use TextExpander and some of the use cases for this tool. If you have any questions about this video or TextExpander, please feel free to leave me a comment below. Now, just to explain what TextExpander is for those that don't know, it is basically a tool that lets you store text which you can then retrieve or expand basically anywhere that you can type text, and you retrieve it and you kind of spit out like these blocks of text using little abbreviations that you've programmed, or what TextExpander calls a snippet. So it's great for things like maybe email templates. Maybe you send the same email again and again, and rather than storing that email in a document or a note, or maybe going to your sent items in your mail and copying it every time, you can store it in a snippet in TextExpander, and you can then type a little snippet and it will generate and spit out all that text. And there's some great options for things like having optional paragraphs that you turn on and off, having places where you can type in text, maybe like the person's name. So they can be really dynamic, and there's a lot of extra features built into TextExpander that really help you to personalize the emails or these blocks of text at the same time. Now, if you haven't already, go back and watch my introductory video about how to set up TextExpander. In that video I demo how to actually create a few example snippets. In this video I'm going to be sharing and basically going through my own TextExpander account and explaining all the different ways that I use this tool, because that I find is one of the challenges with TextExpander, is kind of just figuring out how to use it. And so I hope to just give you some ideas in this video. A quick fun fact, actually, quick side note, I recently got my email, my monthly report from TextExpander, and last month I actually saved about 5.5 hours worth of time just on typing. That is actually quite mind-blowing. If you think about it, that's nearly a full 8-hour working day. So it's quite cool to think I've basically gained nearly a day, getting close, and I'm trying to push that number up, just on typing. So that, I hope, gives you an idea of how powerful TextExpander is. And using TextExpander is not just about saving time, although it is one of the key benefits, but I think, as you'll start to see when I go through some of my snippets, it's a great way of actually developing a better process in your work and helping you to be more consistent by using it for things like checklists and especially email templates and things like that. So let's get into it. So here's my TextExpander account. I've got some folders here. Let's just start at the top and go through. So I do have some snippets for Asana, which is my project management and task management tool. So I have a couple at the top here for basically storing descriptions. These are for tasks that I create for planning, maybe like a blog post. I have a description here which I use to generate ideas for like how to format the headline, and just some questions to think about when I'm writing the post, and just basically some guiding questions and things to think about when I'm writing that post. So I try to use one of these headlines, for example. So that's what I meant before about it helps me follow a better process. And so I basically paste this block of text into the description when I'm planning a blog post, and I can try and think about some of these questions and headline formulas here. Here's another one. And then I have some basically my main use of TextExpander in Asana is for creating subtasks. So I have a couple for things like planning videos, like this video I'm working on right now. There's a bit of a checklist I have to follow. You know, I have to record the video, upload it, create a thumbnail, add video cards, and so on. So what I've done is I've laid out all my subtasks on a new line like this, and then what I can do, if I go to a task in Asana, if I type my abbreviation ;video sub, you see it generates all those subtasks for me, these ones that I've set up here. So that's actually one of the main uses of TextExpander within Asana. I've got checklists for creating videos, conducting interviews, writing book summaries, blog posts, projects with clients, that type of thing. So rather than creating a task template in Asana and actually duplicating it, which I could do, I actually quite like using TextExpander to quickly generate a list of subtasks like this. So those are my Asana snippets. Then I have some for ConvertKit, which is my email marketing system, which I use for newsletters and automated responses, email, sales funnels and things like that. I have a simple snippet, which is just some liquid text that I use to basically insert the subscriber's first name into the email. So it puts in their name and it actually formats it in downcase and then capitalizes it as well. So it kind of manipulates that subscriber name for me using some liquid code. I have a couple of short codes. These are ConvertKit forms that I can put on my WordPress website. So these are just the form IDs, and I can just quickly type a snippet and I can insert these short codes onto my WordPress website. And then all of these liquid ones here, these are snippets that I can use to personalize my emails. So for example, with my Master Asana course, in some of the emails, I can personalize the email based on the goal that people have with Asana. So if they want to learn about different features, I can personalize this text here. And then if they want to learn about the processes, I can have some personalized text in here. So basically these snippets let me just store the, I guess, like the structure that I need to follow to be able to personalize emails correctly. And it's kind of just applying liquid templating in my snippets. If all that's over your head, don't worry too much. Basically, how I'm using TextExpander is these are sort of like kind of like email templates that I can insert into my emails when I want to personalize different ConvertKit sequences. Then I have a folder for corrections. You can actually download corrections like this from the TextExpander website. They actually have like common misspellings. I've actually just set up some of my own here. So like for me, the word doesn't, I for some reason, I just always get the word doesn't wrong. I put the apostrophe in the wrong place. I actually type it like this, where I go DOENS''T, or I actually have another one. Oh no, that's the doesn't one. And so what it does is if I type it incorrectly like this, it will automatically correct that word for me. So I have a bunch of them. Like regards, for some reason I always type an M at the end, I think because the M is right next to the comma key. So if I put a regards M in by mistake, again, TextExpander can correct that for me. So I try and update this regularly. If I notice that I just keep getting the same word wrong again and again, I have TextExpander, I program that in and I have TextExpander fix those little corrections for me. Next, we get into one of my main uses of TextExpander, which is for email templates. So I have a bunch of email templates in here. So I've got this Calendly booking is one of my main ones. So the way this works is, let's bring up an email. I can type in semicolon booking, and then it brings up my little editor, and I can put in the person's name. Hi, Paul. I can turn on different paragraphs if I want. I can change this to Pipedrive. And then if you watch what happens, my CRM gets BCC'd, the subject gets filled in, the email gets generated as well. So that's actually one of my main snippets that I use every single day is this, thank you for your booking snippet. And you can see, yeah, it's been personalized with drop-down menus and different paragraphs being turned on and off. And what you saw there as well is one of my favorite features of TextExpander is its ability to tab between fields. So you can see up here I've got tab, 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 which is basically to mimic, if I'm in the subject, tab goes to here, tab, 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 so that the rest of the text can then go into the body of the email. Really handy little feature for then when you're wanting to switch between BCC and the subject and so on. So I have a bunch of emails like this. Another useful one is, let's say, I have a bunch of sales emails that I use for following up. Now what I've done in TextExpander here is I've got basically like 5 or 6 emails in one snippet, and I can choose which one to generate. So if I show you what I mean, if I go FUP, what I can do is I can choose which email to send. So intro FUP or proposal FUP, follow up. And I can say, oh, I actually want to send the this follow-up email here. Hi, Paul, and I can generate that email. So rather than having separate snippets for all of the 5 different sales emails, I've grouped them into one snippet, and I've actually got them all as optional, and I can pick which one to send. So it's just kind of a way that I've tried to consolidate multiple emails into one snippet. So those are all my different email templates, and in preparation for this video, actually, I was kind of going through all my snippets and cleaning things up. I actually found there were a lot of old snippets that I haven't used in a while. So that's actually, as a bit of a side note, a good tip is if you have been using TextExpander for a while, I've been using it for like 5 or 6 years, you'll probably have some old snippets like me. And so I just went through a bit of a cleanup today. I even renamed some of them to make them a bit, kind of make a little bit more sense as well. So that was really a really useful exercise that I did actually just in preparation for this video. So I would, if you have been using TextExpander for a while, just clean yours up as well. So those are all my email templates. Yeah, probably my main use of TextExpander. Then I have loads of links. So this is for things like affiliate links. You see I have loads of affiliate links that I send out just for services that I've recommended. So I can, let's bring up a note here. I can just type semicolon ConvertKit, and there's my ConvertKit link, or semicolon Pipedrive link, and there's my Pipedrive link. So really quick way to be able to access affiliate links. I've also got links for things like my Calendly emails, my Calendly links. So if someone needs to book a call with me, I just send them semicolon C1 or semicolon C90 for a 90-minute call. So those are all my Calendly links. I have some client surveys that I send, miscellaneous links for different resources and things, and then I have a bunch for my website as well. So I've got semicolon login, that's my login URL. I've got a payment link, semicolon payment, and actually no, not that one, sorry. I want to do semicolon checkout, and then I can put in a download ID for one of my products, like 12345, and the price, and it actually generates like a link for my e-commerce system for somebody to pay for one of my products. So I have a bunch of those website links, and then I have some links for YouTube, for example, my Asana training videos on YouTube. So semicolon Asana training, that's my YouTube playlist. I've got Zoom, that's my Zoom meeting URL. So links actually is probably, along with email, one of the biggest uses of TextExpander, and that alone saves me a ton of time because I'm not having to go and find links from my browser or going into notes to find links. I have a lot of links stored in here that I use very regularly. Okay, random stuff. So I've got some things like addresses, my home address, my bank account number if I need to send people those types of things. I've got date structures that I can use if I'm writing a date. I can just generate today's date. So there we go, 2020-05-11. Or I've got DD or DDate, and it generates the date in a slightly different format there as well. I've got things like naming documents, so I can say semicolon doc, MailChimp receipt, and it names the document there with the date and whatever I've typed in. Or actually for receipt, I have just receipt, a semicolon receipt, and I can say MailChimp. And then actually a little fun side automation that happens there is I actually have another app called Hazel watching my downloads folder, and if it sees a receipt with this text, it will actually move it to a different folder for me. So it's sort of a automation within automation, if you like. And so these are just random ones, files, dates, addresses, phone numbers, things like that. I have a bunch of shorthand text that I use as well. So kind of like these sort of go hand in hand with my email templates. These are just shorthand phrases that I use quite a lot. So things like sometimes when I'm writing an email, I will say, let me know if you have any questions. So I can just say semicolon questions, please let me know if you have any questions. Or issues, I can type, please let me know if you have any issues. Just sort of little shorthand phrases that I use to sign off on emails. I actually just have lorem ipsum here. Whoops. Sometimes I just want to generate like some placeholder text. I just put out the lorem ipsum text there. So yeah, this shorthand folder is just little shorthand phrases and things that I use. Kind of just miscellaneous text, like different random sentences that I need to add to an email or type out. And then I have a bunch of snippets related to my website. So I have a number of, firstly, hex colors here. So hex colors are these kind of little numbers, alphanumeric numbers and kind of codes that represent colors. So here's a hex color for the color of blue that I use on the different buttons on my website. So I can just type in hex, or actually which one is it? Hex button. There we go. And that spits out the color of that button. Or I can do hex gray, and that's the gray that I use on my website. So little hex codes there. I have things like podcast episode descriptions, so I can do pod des, and then I can put in the episode number 175, and then I've generated the kind of podcast description that goes at the end of my description. So here's the link, here's a call to action, other credits and things like that as well. I've also got some shortcodes in here. So I have a plugin called ThemeJug, which lets me use shortcodes to add buttons to a page on my WordPress site. So I can go TJ button, and then I can say the link is www.textexpander paulminers.com, and I could say learn more. And so that's the shortcode for adding a button to my site. I've got other shortcodes for adding in dividers and spacing and things like that. And then I have a bunch of UTM tracking kind of links. So this is tracking that can go on the end of a URL for tracking the source, referral source in Google Analytics. So when I'm sending an email, I might link someone to, here we go, PPT URL, that's my personal productivity toolkit, and then I can go UTM email, and I'll put in the email campaign, which is usually the date, email, and I'll put in some content, and then I can add that tracking to my link as well. So it just makes sure I'm following a really consistent UTM tracking process every single time. And then I have some WordPress, these WP ones here, some WordPress snippets for things like adding a click to tweet CTT. So this is a tweet, and I can add that to my WordPress page. And then I've got some other WordPress ones like adding in CSS comments, adding the more tag to my site, that type of thing. And then finally, I have, again, some more descriptions, a bit like the podcast ones. These are descriptions that go into my YouTube videos, just to make sure I've got the same sort of call to action and notes every single time. And then finally, I have just a folder for what I call workflows. These are for kind of automations and things that I use. So I have these bit.ly ones here. This is a little bit of Apple script, or actually, it is Apple script, that I can use to generate a bit.ly shortened link. And this will go into my bit.ly account, and it will create the link for me. So if I copy this link here, I've copied it to my clipboard now. If I go /bit.ly, you see it automatically has now generated a bit.ly link, and it's spat that out onto the page for me. I also have this quite cool one that I downloaded from somebody online, where it will find the name of the person I'm emailing. So if I'm replying to an email, and actually I don't really use this on its own, I actually use it as part of other snippets, but it will look at the recipient in the to field, it will find their name, and it puts it into it starts the email with hi, and then this is the snippet here, that's this snippet, the one that finds their name. So where I've used that is in an email where I've joined the call. Let me find that one. So I say XNM, I just joined the call. So it finds that when I'm emailing someone, I put in their email at the top. It then automatically works out what their name is and emails them. So let me just give you a quick demo of that. So I've got Haley here as the recipient, and I can go ;joined, and it goes, Haley, I just joined the call. So what's happening? There's basically 3 snippets happening here. If I go to the workflows one, this snippet is working out Haley's name. So it looks at the to, and it works out, okay, it's Haley's name. This snippet, it's 2 snippets working, sorry. This snippet finds out Haley's name, and I've inserted that snippet into the joined email template. So XNM, it puts her name in here. So that's kind of how that works. So kind of a cool way of not even having to type someone's name. You can just have TextExpander find out who the name of the recipient is. I believe that actually just works with Apple Mail. This is for use with the Apple Mail app. And then finally, a couple more final snippets. I have some Zapier workflows here. So this is for generating the Zapier, like today's date. It's like a little bit of code that Zapier wants you to insert if you want to insert today's date. So rather than having to remember that or to go to the knowledge base every time, I've just stored it here in TextExpander. So that is a bit of a look at the various snippets that I use. I'd say, like I said, the main ones are the links and the emails. That's definitely my primary use of TextExpander. But I've stored actually a lot of very different types of things in here. It can be tricky to remember all the different snippets that you have saved. So going through and just auditing them every now and then, just check that they're all up to date, clean out any old ones is a good thing to do, like I actually did today. You can do the shortcut Control-Command-T, and it will bring up... Oh, it's not working. Oh, it's because I've already got that open. If I do Control-Command-T, it brings up this little search box, and I can search for the snippet I'm looking for. Or booking, I can search for these snippets. So you don't always have to remember them. That's actually a really useful way to find your snippets as well. So I hope this video has been useful and has given you a bit of an idea of other ways to use TextExpander. Like I said, one of my absolute favorite productivity apps, really could not live without it, and it saves me a ton of time. So let me know if you have any questions about using TextExpander. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.